KB.
I'm buying that nobody does social like the NBA does social, and they let these players do what they want to do, and it sounds fun and it's entertaining. But I think I also read in MB talking about being Philly tough, that maybe he's grown up, maybe he's got the skin that can withstand this thing, and maybe he's going to try and fight through it, which is what I think he should.
So you think in the immediate future he handled it okay, in the long-term future he handled it great. All right, we'll move on. Buy or sell two. Are you okay with Red Sox GM Chaim Bloom's explanation of the Mookie Betts trade?
What Mookie and David are capable of on the field is a lot. I certainly think it's reasonable to expect that, we're going to be worse without them. It was very clear to us that this move would come with a lot of fan backlash. I think that, we had to prioritize what we thought was right in the big picture for the Red Sox over the fan reaction.
Woody Page, buy or sell?
I am selling. I thought what he said there when he says, we're going to be a worse team without those two players, I think that made more sense than anything else. Then here's a team that can afford to pay the luxury tax, one of the two most expensive franchises in all of sports, and yet they're wanting to dial it back. Their fans are not going to put up with that. Of course, they deserve whatever backlash they're getting.
Sarah Spain?
Yeah, I don't think we're relitigating whether we agree with the trade. If we were, I would say I still disagree with it. But I'm buying what he's saying, which is that the hiccups in the trade had nothing to do with them rethinking things because of backlash. They knew they were going to get it. They got it. They needed to figure out the physicals of a guy. They figured out a different trade that worked for them, and they went through with it. I'm buying that there was no part of them that considered backing off because of the fans. They knew that was
Kevin Blackstone?
I'm just selling that they're still extremely uncomfortable with it, and they're not sure what this is going to look like in the future. You could see him when he leans forward. He's like, oh, boy, let me answer this one more time. This is going to haunt them for a while.
Yates.
Yeah, I'm selling every part of this. Covering that World Series back at Fenway a couple years ago, there were more Mookie Betts jerseys in that crowd than I saw any. And Boston fans are smart. They know that the reason they don't want to do this is because Dombrowski gave Eovaldi $70 million he didn't deserve, and now they can't afford Mookie Betts. People know in Boston. They're smart. This is stupid.
Of course. They're smart. They're smart, not smart. We'll move on. Buy or sell three. Clinton, this is something you brought up with the sign-stealing scandal last week. And, KB, you alluded to it earlier in the show, so let's talk about that. There's a game on signstealingscandal.com, spotlighted, August 4th, 2017. Astros 16, Blue Jays 7. A game Houston seemed to be on every pitch. Trash can bangs all over the place. And in that game, two Blue Jays pitchers got hammered, and that wound up being their last game ever in the major leagues. They were sent down to the minors and haven't been able to make it back. So former major leaguer, Jays reliever Mike Bolsinger, suing the Astros in civil court for unlawful and tortious business practices. Sarah Spain, you're our resident lawyer here, Esquire. Does he have a case?
Thank you for giving me this FaceTime. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to say it as quick as possible. I can't agree with him more. I don't care about the Pandora's box of however many other players might be interested. I don't care how hard it is to prove that if you were not playing the Astros, you might not still have had a bad day. I am 100% on his side. I've been on Mike Fire's side since the beginning because it is completely unfair to the players who were negatively affected by this for their entire careers and life's dream because another group of players wanted to cheat. I am all in on this.
Kevin Blackstone.
And that's why this is such a critical situation, because it cost people their jobs. It took food off their plates. And that's why this is just a big deal. He's not going to be the only one, as Sarah just alluded to. There will be more, and this is a problem that baseball is going to have to deal with for some time.
This panel has long argued against frivolous lawsuits. Do you believe this to be a frivolous lawsuit, Clinton Yates?
I don't, but part of the reason why I commend this guy is because it's going to take a lot of personal work for him to revisit the emotion it takes in order to get through a situation like that. We're talking about a guy who had to go to Japan to pitch later. We're talking about a guy whose wife was pregnant at the time and his life ended up getting ruined. The work he's going to have to do just to see this through, that's going to take a heck of an amount of strength, and I don't know that most players have.
Woody Page.
I'm buying it. I would love to see him take it to court, maybe a class action suit with more players involved, and force the Astros players to have to testify about what happened, because most of them are just trying to avoid it at all costs. Let's get it out in the open.
Wow. Look at those scores today. This was a tight one. Woody, you made a late surge, but it wasn't good enough. Kevin Blackstone also taking a seat.
Almost
Clinton Yates, Sarah Spain FaceTime in 2 minutes.
Yeah. Just the opponent I would have chosen.
You might be 4.5. Yates in Spain. Good luck in showdown. Bogdanovic between Porzingis' legs last night to clear some space, and then he dribbled back out to 30 feet from the basket. Then he gave it to Rudy Gobert for a dunk. Necessary? Unnecessary? Necessarily unnecessary? Clinton, where are you on this?
It was very necessary. It was sparkling, as a matter of fact, in terms of the play of the game. But have you seen this guy recently? He's been hitting game winners all season. Anything he does, I'm fine with. He's on fire.
As Jorge Masvidal would say, it was super necessary. Because when you have an opening like that, and you can have a little bit of a Globetrotters play mid-NBA game, you take
Bogey's
advantage.
been great. You're right on that, Clinton Yates. And super necessary. Absolutely. We'll split the point. We'll move on. Showdown 2. Roll tape.
It's gonna, honey. Aaron Rodgers, he would buy me 400 popsicles.
And today, Connecticut teenager Callie Kessler has her ice pop sent directly to her by Aaron Rodgers and Danica Patrick. Sarah Spain, what's the moral of the story?
Well, whether it's her popsicles and her dream that Aaron Rodgers be her best friend, or the anesthetized philosopher David After Dennis who said, is this real life? I think the moral is get people to film you just in case you say something great. You might go viral and get free stuff.
The other moral of the story is don't be afraid to root for the team you like. This girl's from Connecticut. She's not even from Wisconsin. And she manages to get a package like that from two of the most important people in the Pac world. That's great work.
I really think we have something here. A post-op around the horn edition, and then we'll get to the real takes that that seen on TV that aren't good for TV. Sarah Spain, 30 seconds.
So we spent a lot of time over the last couple years trying to find old tweets that make people look bad after they achieve great things. Well, instead, the last couple weeks between Demi Lovato a decade earlier saying she would sing the national anthem, Patrick Mahomes saying he would be Super Bowl MVP, and now former NFL player turned Oscar winner Matthew Cherry saying in 2012 he was going to win an Academy Award. People are manifesting the good stuff on social media. I love unearthing these, and I think we all should do it. Put something out there. Put out a big dream.
Dream it.
Heirloom.
Believe it.
I'm going to win an Emmy.
See it. Achieve it.
What do you think I'm doing here?
2020.
Put them out right now. We'll see you tomorrow.